Welcome to my video. Please subscribe my channel. In early 2025, a shocking discovery along the Texas-Mexico border changed everything. Authorities uncovered a network of highly sophisticated underground tunnels beneath El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. These tunnels were not just simple holes in the ground, these weren't crude holes but meticulously engineered passageways, hidden highways built to evade even the most advanced surface-level security. The tunnels were equipped with wooden beams, electrical wiring and ventilation systems, showcasing a level of sophistication that stunned experts. The tunnels exposed a critical vulnerability, undermining billions spent on walls and patrols, and forcing a dramatic shift in how the nation viewed border security. The discovery highlighted the limitations of traditional border security measures and the need for innovative solutions. For residents of El Paso and Juarez, two cities that function as one, the news was deeply unsettling, revealing that transnational criminal groups were operating right beneath their feet. The sense of security that many residents had was shattered, replaced by a growing concern for their safety. The tunnels weren't just smuggling routes, they were strategic assets, capable of moving drugs, weapons, and people undetected. The scale and complexity of these operations were far beyond what authorities had previously imagined. This discovery demanded a new era of innovation and vigilance from authorities on both sides of the border. Collaboration between U.S. and Mexican border agents became more crucial than ever, as they worked together to develop new technologies and strategies to combat this underground threat. The hidden world below had become the new front line in the battle for border security. The fight against these clandestine tunnels would require unprecedented levels of cooperation, technology, and determination. The tunnels between El Paso and Juarez were marvels of illicit engineering, 4 feet wide, 6 feet high, reinforced with wooden beams, and built to last. Equipped with electrical lighting and ventilation, these passages allowed for continuous, around-the-clock operation. Some tunnels connected to city infrastructure while others stretched hundreds of yards, reaching depths over 50 feet, well below standard detection. Entrances were expertly concealed in homes and warehouses, making them nearly impossible to find without precise intelligence. Some even featured rail cart systems to move heavy loads efficiently. The scale and sophistication revealed the deep pockets and long-term vision of powerful criminal organizations. These tunnels were not just holes in the ground, they were the backbone of a professionalized transnational smuggling enterprise. The El Paso tunnel network was uncovered after months of coordinated investigation by Homeland Security, Border Patrol, and Mexican authorities. This discovery was the result of tireless efforts and collaboration between multiple agencies, each bringing their expertise to the table. Once pinpointed, the response was immediate. Critical sections of the Texas border were shut down, halting all traffic at key crossings. This swift action was necessary to prevent any further illegal activities and to secure the area. The region transformed overnight, with National Guard units, tactical vehicles and additional resources being deployed to the area. The presence of these forces was a clear signal of the seriousness of the situation. Surveillance balloons were also deployed to secure the area, providing a bird's-eye view to monitor any suspicious activities from above. Specialized teams used ground-penetrating radar and advanced technology to scan the area. These tools were crucial in mapping and exploring the tunnels, searching for evidence of a larger network. Drones were also employed to provide aerial reconnaissance, offering a comprehensive view of the terrain and helping to identify any additional tunnel entrances. Engineers then sealed the tunnels with thousands of gallons of concrete, ensuring they could never be used again. This was a meticulous process requiring precision and coordination. The operation was costly and complex but necessary to disrupt these smuggling routes. The scale of the operation highlighted the lengths to which authorities would go to protect the border. Officials made it clear, this was a national security crisis, not just a local law enforcement issue. The implications of the tunnel network extended far beyond the immediate region. The swift, robust response underscored the gravity of the threat. The coordinated efforts of multiple agencies demonstrated a unified front against this significant security challenge. The border had become a battleground, above and below ground. The fight to secure it was ongoing, with every measure taken to ensure the safety and security of the nation. The abrupt border shutdown sent shockwaves through the interconnected economies of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. Trucks loaded with goods were stranded, supply chains collapsed, and businesses suffered immediate financial losses. Families were separated, daily routines shattered, and local shops saw their customers vanish overnight. The military presence meant to reassure, instead heightened tension and uncertainty in communities used to open borders. Residents felt their binational home had become a conflict zone. The crisis exposed the delicate balance between national security and the well-being of border communities. For many, the cost of safety was measured in lost livelihoods and fractured families. The event forced a hard conversation. How do you secure a border without destroying the life that thrives around it? The tunnel discovery shattered the old playbook of border security, revealing that walls and cameras were no match for threats lurking underground. Tunnels bypassed every checkpoint, making traditional surveillance and barriers nearly obsolete. The threat wasn't just about drugs, it raised fears of terrorists or weapons slipping through undetected. Law enforcement realized the border was now a three-dimensional problem, demanding new technology and tactics. Agencies began reassessing strategies, shifting from surface denial to subterranean defense. The border was no longer just a line, it was a multi-layered space, vulnerable in ways few had imagined. Securing it would require innovation, cooperation, and a willingness to confront threats in the darkness below. The wake-up call was clear. The next era of border security had to go deeper, literally. The tunnel revelation ignited fierce political debate in the US, fueling calls for tougher enforcement and more barriers. Some leaders demanded military action, while others argued the border shutdown punished communities more than cartels. The crisis exposed deep divisions over how to manage the border. Should the focus be on brute force, or smarter targeted strategies? Diplomatic tensions flared as US officials pressured Mexico to crack down on cartels, while Mexican leaders bristled at being blamed for a problem driven by American demand. High-level meetings led to new bilateral task forces focused on subterranean threats. Both nations recognized they couldn't solve the problem alone. Cooperation was essential. Behind the scenes, the crisis forced a more pragmatic joint approach to border security. The border tunnels had become a shared threat, demanding a united response. The El Paso tunnels exposed a glaring gap in border security technology, sparking a race to develop advanced subterranean detection systems. Ground-penetrating radar, seismic sensors, and acoustic devices became the new front line, aiming to spot tunnels before they're operational. Border agents received new training to recognize subtle signs of underground activity, while recruitment expanded to include geologists and engineers. Collaboration between government universities and tech firms accelerated innovation. Robotic tunnel crawlers, predictive analytics, and more. Federal grants fueled the search for solutions, turning the border into a testing ground for cutting-edge technology. The goal: stay one step ahead of increasingly sophisticated adversaries. The arms race had moved underground and the stakes had never been higher. In this new era, technology was as critical as boots on the ground. The discovery of the tunnels forever changed the meaning of border security, revealing vulnerabilities that few had imagined possible just years before. Suddenly, the task of protecting the border was transformed into a complex three-dimensional challenge, stretching not just across the land, but deep beneath it. Walls and fences alone were no longer enough. The old strategies seemed outdated in the face of such ingenuity. The future demanded a layered defense, both above and below ground, combining technology, manpower, and constant vigilance. For border communities, this meant living with constant surveillance, militarization, and a sense of uncertainty that touched every aspect of daily life. The environmental impact of tunnel construction, subsidence, disrupted water flow, contamination, brought new risks, threatening the land and water that families depend on. These changes added new worries to daily life, as residents wondered how their environment and health might be affected in the years to come. Residents faced the challenge of balancing safety and security with the need to preserve their way of life and sense of community. Despite these obstacles, the vibrant cross-border culture that defined their home continued to thrive, with families and friends coming together across boundaries. The story of the Texas tunnels became a symbol of how security, technology, and community are intertwined, shaping the identity of the borderlands. As governments invest in new defenses and ever-advancing technology, the landscape continues to change, sometimes faster than communities can adapt. Locals must adapt to a new normal, one where daily routines are shaped by security measures and where the familiar is constantly redefined. In this evolving landscape, the ground beneath their feet is as contested as the fence on the horizon, a reminder of the ongoing struggle for control and belonging. Yet, the resilience and determination of border communities will define the future of the borderlands as they find new ways to come together and support one another. At the epicenter of a global challenge, these communities stand strong, shaping what the border will mean for generations to come.